Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here at All Access Live with Kevin Rankin. I want you to do me a favor. If you came here from any place other than YouTube, go to this link below. Go to youtube.com/@accesskevin and subscribe to the channel. There you'll find over 400 other guests, amazing members, amazing episodes. And if you choose to, you can actually become a member. So those get exclusive access to episodes like my buddy Kelly Keegi back at his place from Night Ranger, looking at his drum kits and platinum records, hanging out backstage in Las Vegas with the infamous or famous Ginger Lynn, Cy Kernan from The Fix, Midyear from Ultravox, lots of fantastic guests for members only. But if you just want to go the free route, it's easy. Just click on subscribe and link and share this with your friends. Also, this episode would not be available if it weren't for my buddies at 5 Star Guitars. So 5 Star is based in Beaverton, Oregon, which means if you're in the US and you want to buy accessories or guitars or parts, just go to 5starguitars.com. And when you check out, there's no sales tax in Oregon. So if you want, choose that promo code at the bottom, All Access Live, and you're going to save another 15%. So 5 Star, thank you guys so much for your help. And now, before I get started, I just want to give you a quick idea about my next guest. You might have seen him on stage with Justin Bieber or Paramore, but he is now a full-fledged rockin' member with the amazing Our Lady Peace, and we just caught up with him on the road in snowy Toronto. I've got Jason Pierce. How you doing, my friend?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to see you here. You mentioned you got a foot of snow.
Yes, it's a snow day, so it's turned into a 4-day weekend for my family, which is wonderful.
Can I share this with you really quick? This is what you're missing in Vancouver right now. This Vancouver, BC. Look at that. This beautiful sunny, that you can't see the sun as well, but it's glorious, sunny and blue sky. So
you can actually see the trees.
Yeah, it's nice. Now you are. Yeah, I knew that you were born in London, Ontario. So you've been a Toronto guy or an Ontario guy for a long time. Did you spend time on the West Coast at all?
Just like recording and playing shows. The first record I actually ever made in a real studio was at Mushroom Studios in Vancouver when I was 18, I think.
Wow.
Which was cool. I was in a band called The Weeknd. Not the pop artist The Weeknd, where we actually own the name The Weeknd. That's why he spells the name that way.
I really?
Yeah.
Like, oh, sweet. Okay.
That's small awesome. World. But
yeah. And so you spent some time recording out here. Did you actually stay, like, did you live out here for a while as well, or?
No. I think we stayed at a pretty sketchy place called the Burrard Motor Inn.
Oh, God.
And I think it was back in the day too, so it was like 4 people in a room, sharing beds, and
oh yeah,
you know.
Wait, Our Lady Peace, you guys aren't doubling and tripling up anymore?
Yeah, no. We're kind of past that, luckily.
That's a good thing. You just came off a killer tour, man. The Our Lady Peace live Collective Soul tour. That was I missed that tour, as you know. We had tickets to go see your first show in Seattle, and
right.
Had a medical issue pop up, so we missed it. But I was grateful to get to see you in Coquitlam, in the Vancouver area. And so when I caught up with you backstage, we talked a little bit about this last run of shows and kind of what next year is looking like. You had just done the Grey Cup performance, last Grey Cup on the snow. We didn't get a chance to talk about that, man, but watching video of that looked insane. It looked like brutally cold. Was it just nuts out there?
It totally was, man. And I was like, stupid and brave. And I'm like, I'm going to do this sleeveless. I don't know why I did it, but.
Well, if you're like me, man, you can sweat even when it's cold out there. Just
yeah,
you're playing drums, right? So
100%. But the worst part was like the different stages of being cued. Like first your side, like at the side of the field, and then like a few minutes later you get walked out to the stage, and then you're just waiting to be like, when do I get to play? And the whole time, just like I'm an ice block.
Oh, yeah. When you said getting cued, I thought you said getting cute. Like, the stage of being
that
cute.
just happens by
until you're freezing cold, and then a cute goes out the door, and you're
right.
Yeah,
look at me. That's awesome.
So we've both. I mean, we've been on stage doing live TV performances. I know that sometimes people might be surprised by how live those things really are. So I was going to ask, was everything live there? Did you have any backing tracks, vocals, or anything like that stuff, or like because it sounded so full. It sounded like an actual like studio recording when you guys performed, and that is tough.
Yeah, no, totally. Rain's vocals were live on that,
Okay.
but a bunch of the instruments were pre-recorded, which we had to basically mime over top of.
Okay.
Kind of like
Yeah.
what they do for like you know, a lot of the bigger TV stuff,
Totally.
like halftime
Yeah.
shows and stuff like that. But it was terrifying for me being a drummer because like there's so much nuance to everything you do, and if you're on TV, it's like making a music video. You have to play the part exactly like it's on the recording, or
Right.
it's completely obvious that you're miming.
Every
So
drop is going, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I actually set up in my home studio with 3 different cameras on me for about a week and a half before we shot. And I ran it every day, going through every last little detail of it to make sure that I looked at least like I was,
Yeah,
you know, playing live.
totally. Oh
Yeah.
man. That you know, not to dovetail off that story. Jennifer Batten, amazing guitarist. I played with her for a long time. Has this amazing story of playing with Michael Jackson on like the notorious Super Bowl halftime show. He played with 1 billion people worldwide to watch. And as Ricky Lawson, as they're pushing the massive stage out onto the field, she said, "Stick bag nowhere to be found. No sticks." So she said, if you watch YouTube clips, yeah, he's hitting cymbals and like air whipping the cymbals because it's played to a track. But yeah, he had no stick. He had to do that halftime show in front of 1 billion people with no stick. Can you imagine the pucker moment, right? As they're pushing you out, going, "Where are my sticks?" Oh man! And
I hate to say it, but like someone must have lost their job over that. Like that's a very big mistake.
Yeah, man, that's just not a little like, you know, you're missing a cymbal felt. Have you had any crazy issues like that? Like any live performances where things go terribly wrong and you got to just punt?
The first time anything like that happened to me, I was 19 and I was over in Indonesia with The Weeknd. We were the first band since Deep Purple to do in all the different islands in Indonesia, which was a huge honor. And like, it was my first like actual tour as well, which kind of inflated my expectations at that point in my life because we had like really blown up over there. Like, I believe our first show was probably like a 50 or 60,000 seat like stadium.
Wow. And you're 19.
And I was 19 and we were like flown in helicopters and like all this stuff where it's like, it's never been like that again since. Like, no matter how successful the bands I've played in, it's never been like that again. So, but yeah, one of those shows, my drum throne broke on me mid-song and I just fell backwards.
Oh, man. You know how many nightmares I've had about stuff like that? Like even prior to like doing gigs, just where like the throne sliding backwards off the riser so what'd you do? You had to stand up while you're playing?
I just got back up and got back into it. I'm like, that happened. I got that out of the way, you know, like.
Did they get you another throne or what? Like,
I don't even really remember. It must have been something like that, or they must have fixed it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I've had some like, Indonesia's kind of funny that way. Like, you know, the drum risers move a lot more than the usual drum risers move. And like, I was back there when I was playing in Paramore, and I think we were playing in Jakarta, and Haley was walking on the stage and it was bending down. So for some reason, a bunch of carpenters came in and decided they would reinforce the stage as we're playing a show. So between songs, you hear like drills going and saws going under the stage.
Man, so I mean, we can talk about your pedigree and the history. I knew you. So you did Haley and Paramore. So how long were you in the Paramore gig?
About a year.
And you took over from Josh Freese, I heard.
Yeah, I took over from Josh Freese, and then Alon Rubin, who is with the Foo Fighters now, replaced me.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah. Gosh, they've exchanged a couple of gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you in line for the Foo Fighters gig if things slow down with Our Lady Peace?
That or Nails, you know, it's got to be one of the two at that point. So
yeah, man. Yeah. Resume and say, hey, man, my resume is up to date, right? So, stylistically, like, I mean, you've done everything across the board. So let's back up a little bit. I see, you know, Caleb Rankin. I see your comments there, man. So we'll chat related to this. The first gig that I heard about, one of the early gigs that I heard about you doing in the younger day, was the Justin Bieber gig. So
yeah,
tell me about that time.
Oh man, that was crazy. I was playing with this artist named Shiloh at the time, and her musical director was a guy named Dan Cantor. Actually, if you look behind me, there's a Shiloh bass drum head up on the wall right over there.
Oh, right on. That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, Cantor was the musical director for Shiloh, and he became Justin Bieber's guitarist and musical director. Okay. So like some of Shiloh's band ended up migrating a little bit over to there. It's crazy that like that Shiloh band, like the keyboard player ended up going on to play in Pink's band. The other guitarist that filled in a bunch of times is Ricky Tillo, who is Lady Gaga's guitarist now. And it's like this little Toronto community that like just burst off into all these different corners of the music industry.
But huge, all
yeah,
huge, yeah,
totally. Yeah, like Ricky's played the, like the Super Bowl. Like who gets to play the Super Bowl besides Ricky Lawson and Ricky Tillo,
Oh my God, yeah, no
But
kidding.
yeah, the Bieber thing happened because of Cantor, and the first show I did with him was Much Music's intimate and interactive back when they did that still.
Okay.
And it was the debut of Baby, if you remember that song. And,
of course, it was this huge, big opener hit.
Totally. We weren't allowed to hear the song though before we played it. They only sent us a backing track that had all the backing vocals like really, really hot with like a beat underneath it. And I'm like, I have to learn it to this and play it on live TV.
So you never heard the original track before you actually had to play it with him?
No, exactly. The first time I'd ever actually heard the melody and how the song like actually worked was in soundcheck when we ran the song once before we taped.
Wow. Oh my God, man. And he was so young then too. So
yeah.
I mean, at that point, and I'm sure Caleb could chat and jump in on things and more educated than I am. But at that point, like Usher had sort of like found him, right, and sort of made him a thing.
Exactly.
Or brought him into sort of the professional realm. But did he have kind of some professional air about him at that point, or was he still kind of a young, like green kid?
Honestly, I kind of attribute a lot of it to Cantor because Cantor takes the artists under his wing and like really develops them. Not as much as like an A&R guy would like for recordings and stuff, but more for like the live show. So when I came into the fold, Cantor had already been with him, and Bieber was so super like smooth already. It was like this oiled machine. Like
right on. I mean, like because that hit became such an international sort of phenomenon.
Oh my God,
playing stadiums. So you did. How long were you on the gig? The Bieber gig?
Only a few shows. Yeah, he ended up going for like a more urban thing right before he went on and did like SNL and all that stuff. And then they actually had a personnel change on after SNL, and I got a call to fly like overnight to come out and like do the My World tour or whatever. But then as I was packing to go to the airport, I got another email being like, oh, we went with another guy that was more local and more urban again. So it was like,
wow.
Yeah.
Were you pretty used to that kind of scene? I mean, you've been a studio guy for a while, right? So were you used to just like be ready for a call and also be ready for a dismissal and move on to something else?
Totally. Yeah. At that point, I was only freelance, and like, back when I was in The Weeknd, I was a band member, but I've never been a band member up until Our Lady Peace from there.
Really?
Since then it was completely freelance. And at that point, like I loved it. I loved the challenge of it. I loved having to be on my feet all the time and be able to, interact with people on the spot. But there's so much more to it when you actually get into a camp that supports you beyond just being like, you're our live drummer.
Sure.
There's a whole family element, and then there's like songwriting and all this stuff that you can't even touch if you're just the session guy. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, you know what else comes with like being full-fledged members? Like you've got more accessibility for drum techs. Right?
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
So with that being said, I have a surprise guest that's just going to pop on here.
No way.
I got your drum tech, Wayne Sheldon.
There I am.
There I am. Buddy.
Yeah, man.
I can't hear them.
Oh, you can't hear him? Yeah, like we can just get to look at his face.
Your speaker. Yeah.
He's beautiful.
I had a feeling that I think when
I can't hear.
Well, Wayne.
Here we go.
Hey, Wayne, can you hear us?
Buddy.
Hey, Wayne, you might have to put an earbud in. Do you have an earbud that you can put in?
I got you.
Put an earbud in.
Yeah, there's a delay.
Put an earbud in. Here, I'm gonna take you off camera for a second. Put an earbud in, and I'll bring you right back. Here, we'll let him get the earbud thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so for people that are just coming in, didn't know, Wayne does some dual duty, right? He does some drum teching for Jason Pierce, also does some drum tech for Johnny Rabb from Collective Soul, and I think he picks up occasional other gigs when they come about too. So
yeah,
I figured like when he comes back in here, we'll have to ask him, because I love the interplay between techs and drummers. We talk not only about drum thrones that fall apart, but also like having to punt, on the fly. There's always a crisis to put out, right? So
oh yeah,
having a well-oiled machine of guys that we work with that can help fix that. So here, we'll try and bring him in here again. Let's see.
Sure.
Hey Wayne, can you hear me now? He muted himself, so his mic is muted. But yeah, and it doesn't look like he can hear us here. So, hey Wayne.
Hi, buddy.
Can't hear.
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Sorry, guys.
No, that's okay. Well, hey, thanks for popping in. It's good to see your face.
Sorry, guys. I got nothing.
All right.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take care. Yeah. You know what? Technology, man. See, this is what happens live when you go live. So you get
absolutely. I had to set this all up this morning with my son.
Did you?
Yeah. Yes.
Nice, man.
It's the snow day, right?
Yeah. So you've got a young boy.
Yeah.
And do you have any other children or just one child?
No, just a 6-year-old boy.
Okay. Awesome. And he helped set this stuff up.
Oh yeah, he loves the studio. He's got his own little mixing board with his 1/4 inches and XLRs. He calls it his patching set. He steals all my guitar picks constantly.
Oh my God, that is awesome. So yeah, you play guitar, you play keys, drums, everything, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and obviously, so he's still in picks. I mean, I would imagine you've got a playground there of musical equipment. So is he getting involved in the gear?
Oh yeah. I got a full drum shop in my house.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a collector, so
okay.
It's getting worse and worse, or better and better, depending on who's talking. But
all right, let's hear about some prized possessions, man. You have anything you can share?
I got one of those Noble and Cooley Zildjian bell brass snares, like the super sought after ones.
What? You got that?
I got one of those, and the funny part was that a close friend of the band, who was a fan of the band, brought it to a show and gave it to me.
Oh my God, man.
I know. I looked on Reverb. The thing's I think 12 grand or something like that for these snares, but it's amazing.
And are you using that for recording?
Yeah, I actually used it on a song called Sound the Alarm, which was our last single last year. But that thing doesn't leave the house besides going to the studio.
Yeah, man. You certainly don't want to travel with that thing.
No.
It's got to be so heavy too, right?
Oh my God, yeah. The thing weighs probably at least 30 pounds. And it came in a little flight case and everything too. I'm like,
well, it should, right? For that. I think so Mike Snyder had been working with Zildjian for a while, and actually you had one of those to demo. And when we did the podcast, it just come out, so he brought this thing out, and I don't even think he got to keep it. I think he got to demo it for some tracking. And I've never seen one in person. It'd be amazing to pound on, So the next time we're over in your hood, I'd like I'd love to check it out. Perhaps I'll have one at the NAMM show. I'll be there next week. Will you be?
No, I won't actually. Am I frozen?
Nope, I got you.
Oh, weird. It's frozen on my side.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to NAMM. We actually have we got a private show during that period. So
right.
I'll see Wayne, but
yeah. Well, so here's the thing too. I mean, so for non-musicians, the NAMM thing, it's the National Association of Music Merchants is what it is actually. And so it's all the drum companies, guitar companies, and production companies, and label reps and musicians. Everybody gets together, and it's 100,000 people conglomerate into Anaheim, California. And it's a 3 or 4 day convention, and a lot of networking, and a lot of partying if some people do that or whatever. But it's a great experience for guys that are out touring and kind of come together. It's almost family reunion time for a lot of fellow musicians. And so it's a place I would expect to see you if I wasn't seeing you on the road. And the other thing is too, I mean, this time of year, this is kind of the off season for bands that are not typically touring. A lot of bands don't tour through the winter seasons in the North America, right? If you're down Australia, this is certainly the time to go. But with Our Lady Peace, it looks like you guys do a lot of those corporates and the one-offs gigs, a lot of fly dates, right? Where you go in.
Yeah.
And play. So tell me about that kind of schedule, man. I mean, with Our Lady Peace, you guys do full tours, and then you'll do a lot of selective one-off dates.
Yeah, exactly. Our touring usually doesn't go for more than 6 weeks at a time. Like we're never really gone for that long of an extended time, except for this summer. This summer we did 10 weeks straight through the States, which was, it was somewhat aggressive for a schedule for us.
Sure.
But the shows were amazing. And I think we ended up doing like 100 shows almost with Collective Soul last year, because something like that. Yeah, because we did our Canadian tour and then we did the American tour with them as well. So it was like all year we were with them.
Amazing, man. Well, that's great for Wayne because he gets double duty, right? He's doing
Yeah.
or maybe it's not great for Wayne because he's got to do twice as much work and a lot of prep. And, with Our Lady Peace, with the amount of gigs you do, you probably don't have a lot of time to do any touring with other bands, right?
No, I stopped doing that actually when I started with OLP, because when I have downtime, I try to focus on writing.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
So, but you guys aren't all in the same location, so you use technology to send stems over to other people's parts.
Yeah, exactly. We ended up doing a record during COVID called Spiritual Machines 2, and that record was completely done remote, and it was so challenging. It was so challenging to be able to find like vibe off each other.
Sure.
When some people are in LA and some people are in Toronto. Plus like the time change and just the difference in schedules with producers and stuff like that too. I would a lot of times like track drums, send them off to LA, and then have to keep the mics up in the same position for like 2 or 3 days until I heard back from the producer to be like, we don't need to punch in, because if you have to punch in, I'd have to redo the whole thing if I moved the mics.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. You get a completely different sound. And
yeah.
Man, I mean, there's so many technical questions I have about this stuff, right? So when you take something like that, you got the record that came out in COVID and you did a lot of touring off it. I noticed you have a great mix. This, at least the show that I saw was a longer show. It's one that you headlined.
Yeah.
So you get a good 75 to 90 minute set, right? Where you've got the older stuff, newer stuff, and sort of reimagined. Like the intro for Starseed was super cool and really vibey when you came out for your encore. And that's like kind of an expanded thing you might not see if you're doing a condensed set.
100%.
And
yeah, man.
All right, so technical questions then. I mean, we can get into gear and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things I was thinking about when I saw that show, I was asking you. You shared some stuff on Instagram. In fact, you guys are great about sharing. You had the Meta Ray-Bans, right? So you guys are all. Are these
I'm wearing them right now. Yeah.
You are. Yeah. All right. So I think at one point, it looked like almost every guy in the band had them on. Is that right? So you guys are all
just me and Duncan, actually. I was trying to get Rain to get a pair, but he didn't buy any.
Okay, yeah, man, because I thought you were probably the first person I saw that was doing live shows with these things, and it looks like if you're moving much at all, it's a little bit like dizzying, right? I mean, for people that are watching like a live stream, but the entry on stage as you're walking on, for non-musicians, right, to get an opportunity where they're walking into a shed and they can see 15,000 people out there, and you get the energy of the crowd. It's as if they're in the band, which is a super cool thing.
Totally.
And did you like purchase them outright, or did you hit up Meta and say, hey, listen, man, we're going to go out, we're going to give you lots of promotion. Take us on a little endorsement. Anything like that?
That would have been the smart way to do it. I didn't do it that way. I actually, we flew into Seattle and I went to a glasses store and I tried to find them and they didn't have them. So I went to like 10 other stores because they were sold out everywhere. Then just randomly one day they had them. So I bought them and I started wearing them for shows. But as you said, like trying to keep your head straight is such a challenge.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's like, I've been doing this forever and I've never noticed that my head moved that much.
Yeah. Right. You have a really unique style about your playing too. I've never seen anybody play. You've got the windmill thing with your left hand, with your left, your snare drum hand. Yeah. But you set up straight, like some guys, like Kelly Keegan I was talking about from Night Ranger, right? Kelly's a side stage guy, so you get a different perspective when you're watching. But when you're watching it's enough of a flair to your playing. It's not distracting, not, like as drummers, like, I love it, man, and it's not going to get you in trouble from Rain by trying to upstage the lead singer, right? So
totally.
I understand these goals, but have you always had that kind of vibe? I didn't see a lot of your earlier stuff, but
yeah. Well,
Haley's a really drum focused guy too. So did she endure?
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like her voice, her stage presence, and her power is something that is like pretty otherworldly. It's been like, it's really rare to walk on stage with someone and to feel that energy.
Yeah.
As for like showmanship stuff, I grew up like a huge Matt Sorum fan, a huge Josh Freese was one of my favorite drummers of all time. Guys like that, and I kind of tried to pull stuff from them for my bag of tricks without
Yeah.
copying them.
Sure.
Like the tip of the
Yeah.
hat, but yeah. So that's kind of the root of that stuff for me. But yeah, it's a fine line of like making sure that you're not overstepping
Yeah.
and like
Right.
being like applicable to the times too, because it's really easy to like look super 80s doing stuff like that. Hey, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just
It's funny because your tech actually, it was at our show in Florida, and he's
Yeah.
like, oh, I gotta get Johnny and Jason doing the drumstick catch because my roadie was off stage and we were playing catch, one of these tunes where there's a little bit of room, and my singer said, I just don't want to see it. He said if he's not looking at the jumbotron where it's up there, he's
That's
fine.
awesome.
But there were a couple times where like my roadie guy, Luffy, awesome dude, gotten great aim now. There are a few times though where he'd overshoot, and if he's at one angle, it'd like go out by where my boss is on front, and I'm like, so yeah, it's a risk. But
yeah, man.
I don't even think about a lot of the spins and that kind of thing, or the throws. I don't, the bounces and all that. It's so automatic. But
Totally.
Have you been in any situations like that where you've gotten yourself in a little bit of trouble by having a little too much flair?
Luckily not. When I first came into the OLP camp, I was a bit more flashy with stick spins and stuff like that. And I took feedback from, I think it was our LD at the time, was just being like, that might be a bit much and stuff like that. So I'll take criticism as positive, I'll take it positive no matter what. And I'll try to make it better for the show. I think that's what it has to come down to at the end of the day, because it's not about you or me. It's not about one person. It's about the collective. So.
I mean, that's probably one of the things that's led you to an opportunity to play with so many vastly different artists, right? I mean, like
totally.
We talk about it a lot on the show, that there are a million other amazing musicians out there, right? A million great drummers, guitarists, bass players, whatever. The ability to have a respectful communication, the hang is so key, right? So and your objectivity and your ability to listen to the constructive criticism without saying, you know what, man, don't harsh my individuality. But for the collective, if it's better for the band, it's not because somebody's feelings are hurt. It's because you're trying to make it better. So that's it's cool that you've got that down. Now, some of your history, it sounds like your family was your mom and dad were in the business already. So you had some of this upbringing that kind of showed you some of this. Is that right?
Yeah, like my mom was an LD and my dad did sound. They owned a like regional production company in London, Ontario, called Pierce Sound, like my last name. But my dad's retired now, and my mom passed away like about 16 years ago. But yeah, I grew up on the road, basically watching some of my favorite drummers from right behind them, and that's a huge root of why I saw that it was an actual tangible thing that I could do. And I feel really lucky and blessed for that, because I feel like a lot of people would come up and be like, I want to play drums. I want to be in a band. I want to tour. I want all this stuff. But there's no way to be able to put your foot on the ground and be like, this is something that's real. This is a real job. This is something that people actually do,
Sure.
And as soon as you see that, then it takes the whole mystery out of it. And it's like, this is something I can work towards instead of something that is a pipe dream.
Yeah.
And
you see the professionalism, you see the work ethic that goes along with it too, without just getting the allure of wanting to be out on tour and wanting, the glitz and the glamour and the limos and the, fancy cars. But you see that hard work and, the sweat equity that goes into something like that is key. So
absolutely. It's a long road, man.
Yeah, for sure. Were you multi-instrumental early on, or was drums your first instrument?
I started playing drums when I was 4. I didn't pick up another instrument till high school, where my jazz band teacher introduced me to piano, and it was a huge foundation for everything else for me. Once I actually I found middle C and started like piecing together chords and like all that stuff, I was like, oh my God, it all makes sense. So
the musical part of it, and
absolutely.
Transition to guitar is probably a much simpler thing after you've gotten those basics down too. So
Exactly. And honestly, as a drummer, I feel like I'm so much stronger because of all that other stuff. Especially like through COVID, I played guitar every day. And I came out the other side of it understanding my position as a drummer and music in a completely different light.
I'll
So
bet.
yeah, so there's a silver lining to be locked in my house for 3 years.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, that's where this came from. You know, really, the podcast was just
Heck yeah.
our guitarist is there in Toronto as well. You know, the Spoons, that band Spoons.
Yeah.
The singer for Spoons is our guitarist for Flock of Seagulls, and so like we'd Facebook live all the time saying, "Man, this COVID thing, this is crazy. All these gig cancellations. This might go on 2 or 3 months, not having any clue."
Yeah.
Right? You know, hanging all down for a while. So yeah, so aside from guitar, man, what did you do during that time? You wrote an Our Lady Peace record.
I wrote songs every day.
You had a young boy and a young child that you had just you brought into the world, so you had more time with the kiddo, not on tour,
which never happens for people like
Right.
us. To be able to
That's
be like, I'm
amazing.
going to be home for the next like 2 years and be able to like rear this kid, like that is
Yeah.
such a rarity, you know.
Oh
So
yeah,
that was great.
I heard Toronto was super locked down, right? Yeah.
We were just outside of the city. We luckily, when we found out we were pregnant, we got a house outside of the city like right away and moved out. And then COVID happened like the next spring. So it all kind of like just lined up. And like we were on this pretty great property. Like I had a hill in the back that I could toboggan on. And my backyard was so big that I had this ride-on lawnmower that I called it my punk rock ride because I've never had my driver's license. So it's like, this is the only thing I'm allowed to drive.
What?
So
Wait,
it's true.
you don't have your driver's license?
I have my learner's permit now, but yeah, like I've never,
Just being driven around in limos. Look at you, man. What a baller.
That's what it's about, man. Like,
Wow, that's awesome. That's so because I'm here in Vancouver, BC right now. I hear how different COVID was during the lockdown, where things really didn't lock that much. You know, restaurants were still open with a little more space. I was in Portland, things were locked down, but like in the UK, you hear about people, you know, you had to have permits to go out. One person could go out to get groceries, and it was like one day a week or something. It was hard, but it affected people in a really sometimes profound, sometimes really devastating way. Because as musicians, what we do kind of defines who we are, right? And so there was identity crisis for a lot of people that struggled with what they do was locked down. They couldn't do it. So who they were, they were, you know, sort of scrambling to find identity. You're a new dad at that point. You're writing music. Did you feel like it was a limitation, or did you actually embrace that time for yourself?
I was terrified, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't know if like we would be allowed to congregate in groups again. In my mind, I'm like, is this a forever thing? Is everything shifting and changing now? Like, is live music gone because of this? You know what I mean? They started doing like drive-in shows and stuff like that, which we never did. But like, it was a weird time, and I honestly just had anxiety probably for about 2 years straight.
Yeah, you're one of a lot of people that way, right? I mean, really, so many people struggle with that. Like, you know, for a long time too, like in the chat, and I'll put this out here, not necessarily relevant right now, but a lot of musicians I know struggled. Mental health really suffered in that time, and so I usually point this out that people around the world, if there's this crisis line that popped up, 988, that you can actually call this number. So guys, if you're out there struggling, make sure that you know that you're not alone. And like Jason just said, I mean, dealing with anxiety and the unsureness of what was happening in the future. COVID is one thing, but even right now, the world's a pretty chaotic and crazy place, you know, so you're not alone. Dial in 988, and there are people there that want to help. So your boss, your co-bandmate, Rain Made It, was on the show. We talked a little bit about sort of darkness, you know, being a writer and a musician and having darkness sort of drive a lot of that creative space. Is that something that you'd also sort of come with? And
like through COVID, I wrote at least 1, maybe 2 songs every day. I was in my studio just like constantly. And it is 100% driven by that. It was like, I wanted to be able to put my feelings and put what I was going through into something tangible. So if I listen back to the catalog that I wrote in that time period, I swear I'm probably not going to remember 99% of the songs. It's such just a blur at this point that like, you know.
The COVID fog. I mean, that happens in all respects, but yeah, I would imagine at that point, that was just the only way to sort of, it's a coping mechanism, right? So
it totally is. I'm like, I'm going to make sure that music survives. I'm going to grab the bull by the horn and just do this myself. Like,
wow. And as a new dad too, right? Because you're looking at the future for your kids and trying to imagine how they're going to coexist and manage in a world like this. So now your son's 6, right? Is that right? Like,
yeah. He's 6.5. And funny enough, I had this book called The Story of Rock, and I would read it to him, and a bunch of times I'd start like tearing up because I'd just be like, "Your dad used to play shows."
Oh no! Oh, buddy. But it terrifies me to think about raising kids, especially in like today's day. My boys are 24 and 26 now, and I still can't sleep a lot of times, worrying about their future. Just because there's so much out of our control, right? And especially, we talk about music and being in the business. Your family, you grew up in a family of music. My older son is just embarking this next week on his very first tour, and I'm so excited for him. You think about those times, and you talk about being 19, going to Indonesia. Yeah, so psyched. And he's going to like Italy and Portugal, and it'll be a good thing for him, right? But and he's got a home in Thailand. That's where he primarily is home now.
That's amazing.
But I also know the other side of the business. It's tough, right? And on this show, I will say, first of all, I'm so grateful. I think you're a little younger than me, man, but we've been doing this so much longer than a lot of people get to, right? To be able to play music. So the gratitude is so high. I don't want to lose sight of it. I know a lot of people that take it for granted, and they just mail it in. There's nothing mailed in about your shows. When I came to your gig, all of you guys were so spirited, and it was really cool to see at least what seemed to be legit camaraderie on stage, man.
Yeah.
So you guys all have a kind of perspective about the
100%, man. Like it's one of those things that like it could be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, it takes forever to climb a ladder, and that ladder can be swept out and you're just done,
Yeah.
So it's like you have to be smart. You have to be smart about every step of it. You have to be cautious. You have to I overthink everything. So, it's easy for me, but you have to you have to be aware of all the little nuances of what's going on around you. And I'm really lucky, like the OLP camp, those guys are my brothers. I've been in the band for 12 years now. And Duncan was over here yesterday writing. I talked to Maida today. Like, we're still such great friends, that's the only way to do it, though, because I don't want to go get on a bus for 10 weeks with a bunch of guys that I don't like. Not at like 40 years old. Like, I'm done with that. Like,
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I know too that leading into the OLP camp, from what I understand, like you were playing with Chantel before that. Is that right?
No, I actually got the Chantel gig after. I ended up doing Rain and Chantel had a solo project called Moon vs. Sun.
Yes.
And I ended up doing a show with them out at, I think it was the Olympic Amphitheater in Whistler or something like that. That was the first show I did with them. And then a week later, I started doing shows with Chantel. And she's amazing. Like,
amazing. Yeah. She and Rain were going to do the show together on my show a couple months ago. And like day before, she got to go to Helsinki, I think, or it's the Finland. She was like playing.
She was going to record, I think, probably.
Yeah. So it's cool. But I had just watched Moon vs. Sun, the documentary, the movie.
I'm Gonna Break Your Heart. Yeah.
Like I'm Gonna Break Your Heart. Exactly.
Yeah.
Incredible documentary. And you make an appearance in there. There's that little like.
I'm there for a second. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was so vulnerable, man. Yeah. I mean, that was the thing that I was so surprised by. But my so my Canadian family here, my friends and loved ones here have really clued me into how dynamic Chantel is, right? So I had heard her stuff a bit before as an American. You only really knew her name a lot for a lot of her writing, right?
Totally.
Not a lot of solo stuff, but the kind of huge singles that she's released, right? And she's done so much stuff, like and soundtrack and all that. But she is such a sensitive performer and songwriter. And so as a drummer, where you have to navigate, like space as a drummer, you don't want to step on an artist. I would imagine that dynamically, it was a completely new, well, I don't know. I don't know that much about your history to know. How was that navigating from going from OLP to the Chantel gig then, in terms of dynamics and what you contribute and where your space is for that?
Well, the funny thing with Chantel is, depending on who else is on stage with us, we play the shows completely different.
Okay.
So like if it's just me, her, and a cello player, then it's like way more jazzy. It's like I'll be stirring a bunch. I'm like sitting right underneath everybody. But if it's one of the full band gigs where it's like the cello player's playing acoustic guitar actually, and there's a keyboard player and a bassist and like a guitarist and all that, we play it like the record. So it's like I'll actually hit rim shots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You would never do with the Chantel thing. It's like, I don't want to hurt your ear, Chantel. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But like it was really funny coming into the Chantel gig because, like you said, the dynamic is so completely different. I remember my first show with her was out in Vancouver, and my first sound check with her, we played the first song, and she was like, "Okay, we got to play a bit quieter." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna feel this out." But it's so cool to be able to play like rock shows and then like get on a plane, land, and play a jazz show.
Yeah,
it's like you just get you get both sides of it. So
yeah, stylistically, were you doing jazz stuff before? Is that
in high school? High school, I was like super big into jazz. I was a huge Jeremy Taggart fan, like the original drummer from OLP, and he's got such a jazz flair to what he does that it pulled me into that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I owe that guy a lot for that.
Did you know Jeremy personally?
I met him. I actually back when I was 21, I was in a band called Never Ending White Lights, and we ended up opening for OLP. That's how I met all the guys.
Really? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, they were doing the Healthy and Paranoid Times tour, which they just finished that record. It was that cycle. And I met Jer then. And I've seen him a couple other times. Like we got inducted into the Canadian Walk of Fame this year.
Saw that.
And Taggart was there for that. So that's the last time I've seen him.
Okay.
But yeah, we're friendly.
It's an interesting thing too. I mean, I have a lot of conversations with people about the original drummer from A Flock of Seagulls, and the breaking down stereotypes, or at least people's opinion, because there's a rabid fan base for Our Lady Peace out there, right? They like, I've seen them online, and for our band too, man. I look at forums like Facebook groups where fans of the originals, and I'm like, well, I'm a fan of the originals too, right? So I'm a member of that group, and then I'll see some people like chime in, and they're like, there can be no band if it weren't for the original drummer, right? And so many people started piling on, and I'm not going to engage with these guys in any negative way, right? Because I'm like, by the way, I'm a fan too. The band's from Liverpool. We were playing the Cavern Club, where the Beatles, made famous, right? And
that's crazy.
So we were going to the Cavern Club. I knew a lot of those people were in Liverpool. So I reached out to them and I said, hey, I would love it if you guys take a chance on seeing the band now. If you come out and you don't like the show, I'll give you your money back. And so our singer is like, don't engage with them. And I said, but I'm not an adversary. I want to be an advocate. And a bunch of them came out, and they're like, watch it, arms crossed, and they were like, that was awesome. It was heavier than we expected to be. You were fun, and the band sounds great. Let's buy you a drink. And it was nice to break those things down. Have you had any kind of like experiences where you had to overcome somebody's objections without giving you a chance, and then
totally
winning them back over?
Oh yeah. Like that's been a kind of a constant a lot through my career, to be honest. Okay. Just because back when I was freelance, I was always coming in and replacing band members. Sure. So it was always being like held up against like Zach Farrow or all these guys. I'm just like, great. Like these are all guys that I look up to, or like the Paramore thing, like replacing Freeze, who was a hired guy, but it's like, you're still getting compared to that guy.
Yeah.
I remember after my first show with them, one of the guitarists walked up to me and he's like, when Josh is playing, you can't hear the click. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Noted.
Yeah. Well, from what I've seen of your playing, and there's definitely no concern about meter issues at all. You grew up in this kind of environment, right? So your meter's solid. And
Well,
you're
thank you.
yeah. I mean, look, I know that's an important thing, and non, people that are non-musicians might not hear this, but there's a lot of heckling about drummers not being considered musicians, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
With a band, it's like 3 musicians and a drummer kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're a real musical player, and obviously being a multi-instrumentalist helps. But I would imagine the style of music and the stuff you grew up in really helped contribute to that too, right?
Totally, man. Absolutely.
Who were your early loves, like the bands that you were really into?
Man, I think the biggest one for me, biggest two for me were like OLP when I was a kid.
Okay.
And Guns N' Roses.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned Matt Sorum. Yeah. So,
yeah, dude.
Well, okay. So, and you're younger. So, I will tell you the Guns thing, right? That was always the debate. Like Steven Adler, Matt Sorum comes in, then you had Frank Ferrer. Frank, amazing drummer, I've known Frank from Psychedelic Furs and other gigs that he's done. But he never stood a chance to those fans, right? Because they're like, yeah, man, Matt Sorum and Adler, the original, and he didn't care. He's just like, I'll just do my job, head down, smile your way through it, collect your check, do the gigs, and engage, and it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Frank, honestly, like, I don't know if you know this, but OLP, we did a Canadian tour opening for Guns N' Roses back in, I think it was like 2017 or something like that.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, that was the Not in This Lifetime tour. So we ended up doing that big like stadium tour with them, and I became friends with Frank through that. And that guy is such an amazing dude.
Yeah, amazing.
Like such a great player and such a great human. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I'd be playing, on tour with Guns N' Roses in OLP, and then like look over my shoulder and the drummer from Guns N' Roses is like air drumming next to me.
Oh man,
I'm just like, this is great. This is terrifying. Like, I got this. I think.
Yeah.
Like, if not, Frank's got it. He can take over. I'll go under the drum riser and hide if I have to. But
Johnny Rab, Collective Soul. I mean, Johnny is an industry legend. He's been around for a long time, and I used to collect his sticks way back in the day. He had his own line of signature sticks, and he too, like you, like a fan, like you talked about Frank air drumming, watching you play. Johnny was just talking about how much he loved playing with all these other bands because he's such a fan of their music, and it's a great community we've got, right? So
100%.
like who else besides GNR have you gone out with the OLP that you felt like,
oh man, we did some stuff with Kiss, which was pretty crazy.
Yes, you and Eric Singer sit down and hang.
Yeah, I've hung with, or talked to Gene Simmons a bunch of times, but I've never really hung out with those guys.
Like Tommy Thayer is a dear old friend. Actually, I know Tommy for 30 years in Oregon.
No way, crazy.
He's another guy, right? Couldn't win coming in playing guitar with the Ace makeup because people are not going to give him credit, even though he's been in the band for 30 years, right?
Oh God, yeah. There's always going to be something you're living up to, like no matter what.
You guys did a Kiss tour. I didn't know about that one either. That's great.
Yeah, we didn't do a tour. We just did some like one-offs with them. And then who else? We did a show with the Who with Rain and Chantel, which was that was pretty terrifying. It was with Zach Starsky on drums back when he was doing that.
Yeah, man, amazing.
Which was crazy. Yeah, but there's always it's crazy like when paths cross in like all the different things if you actually take time to look back. I'm not a type of guy that likes to sit there and like kind of reminisce a lot of the time. I kind of try to look forward, Yeah. But when you take a second and you actually slow down, it's wild, man.
Well, there are chapters in your book, right? So if you look back through the Jason Pierce chapters and you think about what got you to where you're at today. Yeah. And it's funny that our brethren in the music industry, brothers and sisters, right? They're hearing you talk about, we toured with Kiss and we toured, Guns N' Roses and and played, like the Grey Cup and the massive TV shows and it, like if you mention that to anybody that's just like, oh my God, I can't get out of my bedroom. Maybe I have a gig at the the pub down the street, but my dream, like this guy's got my dream gig, and the fact that you've played with so many magnificent artists, right? I don't think you're one to take that for granted, right? You realize like this is, And you mentioned Lucky earlier too. You mentioned that that you're friends with your bandmates, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't oftentimes like to consider things luck because you are so prepared, right? You've gotten where you're at.
Yeah.
Not because it's just a win, a roll of the dice. Maybe you were fortunate to get a phone call to,
Fortunate. Totally.
but better, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
so
Absolutely.
if you're looking forward, who are some artists that when Rain and Chantel are taking a break and you've got the next phone call, who's the dream bucket list gig to come up and call up Jason Pierce for drums?
Oh, it would be 9 Inch Nails, 100%.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I would kill for that gig. Like, I just love heavy music, and I love like just the attitude and the production of those shows and all of that. That would be a bucket list for me, 100%.
Trent, you listening?
Yeah.
What is your take on Josh's thing? I mean, it's great to see him go back to Nine Inch Nails, right? It's awesome and
Yeah.
so perfect for that gig.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's unreal. The unceremonious departing from Foo Fighters, like you got a little closer, look at it. Right? So, what's your take on that, man?
I don't know. Freeze is such an in-demand guy that I don't feel like he'd be happy sitting still in one group forever.
Sure. Yeah.
I came up loving him with Perfect Circle. That was like my first love. When I saw him in the video for Judith,
yes,
that literally cemented in my mind why I do what I do at that point. I was just like, that is it right there, and that is what I want to pursue.
Did you tell him that?
I haven't told him that. I have met him. We did a show in Vegas a couple years ago where Billy Howardell from Perfect Circle was opening for us, and Freeze was playing drums.
Wow.
So I ended up getting to play on his silver Perfect Circle kit.
Did you? Right
it sounded so good, obviously.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I think I thanked him probably 10 times that night. I hung out with him in Vegas that night. Him and Danny Lohner from Nails. We hung out till like 3 a.m. But I like at least 10 times was like, Josh, thank you so much for letting me touch your drums.
Yeah, man.
He's just like, yeah, man. Like the last 9 times, you're welcome. Like,
he was playing with Devo when I was in a band called Animotion, an 80s pop band.
Yeah.
I was with them for a long time. We did stuff with Devo, and that was the first time I actually saw Josh play. This is 23 years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember watching him. We talked about your unique windmill, kind of Pete Townsend, that kind of windmill,
totally.
Right? And Josh had something similar too, where he was doing this thing where he had this like cycle thing with his arms while he was playing, and it looked like he was swinging, but he was playing on every downbeat. I remember thinking, that dude is like, he had the flamboyance of Keith Moon, but the precision of a drum machine. It was awesome, man. He had but then completely put that stuff away for certain gigs, right? He played exactly like the Nine Inch Nails. You don't see him out there doing those flares, but he's a machine, man. It's
absolutely awesome. Or like when he was playing with Sting. Oh my God.
Right.
That's just like, come on.
Come on. Yeah. Yeah, man. But it's interesting, like the stylistic stuff that I see you playing with OLP, like Rain's, sort of direction seems to be, it reminds me kind of Sting. There's a creative element. I haven't told him that, I just think I look at like each record sounds a little different. Every Sting record sounds a little bit different, and there's like an advancement and a maturation, at least in writing, and totally. So. And I would imagine too with the OLP, because as the band is contributing to the writing, that maturation really has been helped by guys like you contributing, right? You've got just a musical sense. So what does that look like when do you bring a song to the band and say, I got an idea, or do you are you contributing like based on demos that somebody else has given you?
It depends on like a song by song basis. Okay. Like yesterday, like I said, Duncan was here writing, and we wrote a song, and it got sent off to Rain today. The two of us wrote that. But on the last record cycle, like Spiritual Machines 2, there's a few songs on that record that I actually brought to the band. That were ones that I'd like written, like not lyrically. I didn't do any of like the top line stuff, but like the tracks were there. Okay. So funny story. The first time I showed them one of the songs, it was a song called "The Message" off of Spiritual Machines 2. I was sitting in Rain's studio in LA, and I put it on, and I started sweating. Like, I'm just dripping with sweat, and like everyone's like, is this guy sick or something? But I was just so nervous because it's like you're almost getting caught with your pants down when you're showing something that you've worked so hard on and that means so much to you, and you respect the people that you're with so much. It was a crazy experience, but luckily everything worked out and they liked it and it made it on the record. But
how different did it become on the record from what you showed them to what actually got finished?
A lot of the instrumentation and stuff is actually from my demo.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah. Some of the bass stuff Duncan came and redid or added to it. I know Steve played some different guitar stuff over top, but some of that song, some of the bass was me playing it. Some of the keyboards was me, like chord structure, all that stuff, the arrangement, all that is the same as my demo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So and this is the nitty gritty stuff that, people don't want to talk about, but, contributing songs and publishing and songwriting. So do you guys, when you brought that much to it, is there Jason Pierce, the primary, you getting full right association with that?
Yeah. We're really, we're kind to each other and we want to make sure that everyone's involved. So, no matter if there's just a small guitar part or a hook that's contributed or something like that, you're getting points. You have to get points. You know what I mean?
Man, that's so cool.
It has to be. It has to be a community, and it has to be everyone holding each other up instead of people competing. Because if you're just competing with each other, then again, it's not for the greater good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Still doesn't, not all bands, work that way. So that's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to switch your camera. I just realized that we see the DW in the opposite. There we go. Now I see your proper, everything makes more sense now. There we go. So DW drum head on the wall. I know you've been a DW guy.
Yep.
How long have you been with the company?
I actually re-signed with DW last year.
Okay.
I signed with DW first when was that? It was 2011, I think, or 2012. I grew up loving DW. Again, Freeze, those type of guys. Like, I remember working my summer job at my dad's shop, just trying to save up to buy a collector's kit, going into the store and dropping like way too many thousands of dollars on a set of drums and just being in awe of them. I'm the type of guy that still to this day, like, I'll sit on the floor and just stare at my drums.
Oh, that's so
like,
sweet.
I just love them so much. But to be able to come back to DW was a huge thing for me. At the time when I left them, it was a financial thing for me where I was being in Canada with shipping and brokerage and all that stuff too. I was like, this does not make sense to me when some other drum company was going to give me the drums for free and all that stuff. But when it came down to being like, what do I actually want to play?
Yeah.
It was a no-brainer. And I'm like, I have to go back to where my heart lies.
You bet.
You know? So
but with LP, I mean, without your gear, the DW will make sure that you got stuff backlined, right? They'll
anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and that's a big thing too, because I was with before DW, I was with Gretsch for a few years. Okay. I think probably almost like 6 years. And their high-end gear is amazing. There's nothing wrong with their drums, but they're just not set up for backline properly.
Yeah. If you have backline requirements with Gretsch kits, you're probably 1 in 10. You're going to be able to get that kit.
You're getting low end kits, and we were doing this thing for the Stanley Cup. And it was televised, and I showed up, and it was a Catalina kit, it took me like an hour to get the toms to sound good, and I can get drums to sound good. Like, I know what I'm doing, but it took me so much work, and it was televised. I'm just sweating again. It all comes down to just me sweating. If I'm sweating, it's not a good situation.
In a hockey rink too, right? So like, if you're sweating in a hockey rink, that's
there's something wrong with the situation.
Oh my God, man! How about the rest of your stuff? So you Sabian cymbals, right?
I've been with Sabian since I was like 18.
I'm in good Canadian company, right? So
they're amazing. They're just like so consistent, and they've always taken care of me. Like,
when things are different right now for drummers, where you would see a lot of drum clinics out in the day, like, you're a little younger, but when I was growing up, like, one of the most amazing things, especially in a small town, was that you might be lucky enough to have, or fortunate enough to have, an amazing drummer come through, do a clinic like an hour or two, and you can ask questions and watch this drummer up close. A lot of budgets have restricted a lot of that stuff, so you might see a master class with guys like Todd Zuckerman, right?
Totally.
But not a lot of drum clinics out there anymore, and so people just have to kind of rely on YouTube, right, to be able to see their favorite drummer play, unless they catch him on a tour. But you have a channel of guys, any guys that you're watching online that you're inspired by?
Oh man, there's so many great drummers out there now.
I know, it's nuts.
Like,
right?
yeah, what's that kid's name? Grayson.
Oh, Newcomen.
Yeah, that guy's wild.
Unreal, because he can play jazz, he does metal, and
exactly.
He studied Buddy Rich so intently that he had Buddy Rich chops, but then he'll go and play a metal tune too. Well,
that's what it should be, though. You should be like full circle enough that you can handle those things. There has to be different things in your repertoire besides just one flavor. So,
what's the most challenging gig you've ever had?
Oh, crap. What was the most challenging gig? Might have been when I was doing some stuff with Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys.
Really?
Yeah, just because there was like no rehearsals really. Like there was just a sound check where you kind of ran through a couple things, and then I'm playing I Want It That Way. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like,
but it's like stylistically, the stuff was probably pretty simple, right? Arrangements
totally super. Yeah, it's pop. And I grew up going to like parties in grade 6, eating chips and drinking pop, listening to that song. So I knew the material.
Yeah.
But it was the pressure of it, being like on stage with someone that is that immortalized and that like established, like no matter what, that guy is going to be remembered.
Yeah. Oh, the residency at the Sphere, right? I mean, that doesn't get, you don't get those kind of gigs unless you've got generational, history.
Exactly.
Right. So
exactly, man. So like just the pressure on something like that. But like I've had like even like my first show with Paramore, there was so much pressure.
Was there?
Oh my God, yeah.
Because you came off like taking Freeze's place too, or because the music was so involved?
Well, that gig is so high energy that like I was so gassed after shows, and I heard rumors that Freeze was even talking about how he's never been more sweaty on a show and how he would have to like change his shirt mid-set and stuff like that, which I've never seen the guy sweat like that. But just I had so much fear in me, just being like, this is such a huge step for me to be able to get a gig of that caliber.
Nice.
And we were over in Prague. That's where our first show was.
First, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was like the Rock for People Fest or something. It was like this massive, again, like 40, 50, 60,000 people outdoor thing. And funny enough, we talk about changing the first song as we're walking the stage. We're like, we're going to start off with That's What You Get and go into Misery Business, which is a completely different order. So my click's not programmed that way. And I get up and I go to like turn my page on my click, and it's not in the page mode. It's just on tempo mode. I go to count in Misery Business, and it's 1 BPM faster than the previous song instead of being like 20 BPM.
Yeah.
So it was stuff like that, just being like, oh my God, like hands shaking. Like the sweats are back again.
Oh no!
I should probably get that looked at, but
it's called hyperhidrosis. I know it well, unfortunately.
Really?
I grew up in Montana, where it was cold all the time too, and I would sweat even on a cold gig.
Man,
and great shape. And then as I get older and less, I was in less physical health, and metabolism changed. I still sweat crazy, and people are like, after the gigs, I'm like, people want to come and give you a hug. I'm like, you know what?
I need like half an hour after the show to calm down to stop sweating. Like if I shower after a show, like game over. I need to shower again.
I know.
Because it won't stop.
It's the truth. Yeah, you have to super, super, super cold shower. But when I saw you guys last, a couple of guys in the band were sick. I mean, Rain was super sick, and
oh my God, yeah.
Duncan might have been sick too, and that's tough, man. I mean, you guys, when you're doing back-to-back shows, it's as a singer, right? I mean, that's even worse. Like, but
I felt so bad for him. He had just done a trip with War Child to Afghanistan right before the Grey Cup, and he flew from there to Winnipeg, where we were filming, like directly, and showed up, and he had this like Afghani sickness that he had caught there, which then That's what that cold was, because it distributed to the rest of the camp. I came home the next like couple days later and I was sick and I gave it to my family. Then Duncan got it. And then fast forward like 3 or 4 weeks later, Maida's still sick with it. And that's when you saw him.
That's brutal, man. Our singer, we just did a run back where you were at. I told you we did Niagara for New Year's Eve, did New York and a few other shows. Of course, man, our singer's got the flu bug now too. It hit him hard. It's just, and thankfully we've got a little break, but I'm thinking, man, this is not fair.
Well, I can't imagine being a singer for that reason alone. Like I've had to play, I'm sure you have too, like played shows so sick because the show must go on.
Yeah.
But as a singer, if you open your mouth and nothing comes out, like what the heck are you going to do? Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, your old buddy Bieber. I mean, I remember there was a point too, where there's a documentary about one of his tours. I remember seeing that where they were doing ridiculous, like whatever, 300 shows in a year, right? And there were so many back-to-backs, and he'd lost his voice. He was so sick, and he was trying to do things to fix it on the tour bus. Hated having to cancel, because at that level, when you cancel shows, it's not just letting fans down, right? But you think about the amount of people that are dependent on the income that come in from those shows. It's not like you're out the money. It's like 100 people on a crew are out that, like all the people that work in the venues and all the producers and
absolutely.
People. Yeah, it's
as an artist too, just like the financial fallout from that, not just the loss of income, but if you have like 100 people on salary, like the amount of money you're losing. Because it costs so much money to tour, and I can't even imagine on that scale compared to like arenas. That's something completely different, you know.
Totally.
Like,
when you were doing the Paramore gig, I mean, I know last couple of years, Haley went even at the next level, right, with Taylor Swift. You're doing like a 2-year tour with Taylor Swift, and imagining the magnitude of that kind of tour. It's cute as we're chatting here. I see on the Instagram feed, there's a brand new, really cool Paramore tribute in Portland, Oregon, and they just jumped on. They were watching on Instagram. So, the gal that started that has like a No Doubt tribute. She's so intense in the study to mirror and mimic those things to get it down just right. And she really, she's got Haley down really well, and she did Gwen Stefani well. But I would imagine being there, like, you talked about the energy that you needed to sustain that gig. But when I watch like Haley Williams do her gig, the whole band is involved in the aesthetic, right? So they've got moves, there's their choreography, drummer, guitarist, bass player, all doing some of the moves together. Did you guys work that stuff out even back then when you were playing?
Not me. I know the guitarist and the bassist had their things. There was a song called Pressure where they had like the pressure flip and like stuff like that. But not me at least.
You weren't doing the little cut.
I would if they asked me to. I would. But
nice.
Of course, I'm a team player. You gotta be.
That's awesome. When he starts asking you to work on choreography moves, and we've had a discussion.
You see my kick leg come up. I start doing little kicks with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do that. Totally.
I think so.
Yeah. Why not? Like,
what's something that people might not know about Jason Pierce? What's the guilty pleasure or some unknown fact?
Oh, heck. Well, I'm a huge pop music fan, and I always have been.
Yeah.
Like when Party in the USA came out, it pretty much like changed the game for me. I remember like driving around Toronto with my friends. Obviously, I wasn't driving, but I was in the passenger side, being the passenger princess, rocking out to Party in the USA.
Love it.
There's something accessible about it that has always kind of just spoke to me. But I think that's kind of what spawned me into the pop world.
Yeah.
Because of that, you know what I mean? I got drawn into that because it was something that I just loved. And it's been kind of like my thing of always being able to put my heart into what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially like songs and stuff like that. Because I feel like people in the audience can really tell if it's not a genuine thing coming out of you. If you're phoning it in, if you're doing anything like that, then,
Yeah. Well, like I said, when I watched your show, and I looked at the camaraderie y'all had on stage, but everybody had, there was an element that combined that made the whole greater than the sum of its parts, right? And so because what I remember seeing Our Lady Peace back, in the 90s, here in the Northwest. I think I saw him in Seattle at Bumbershoot Festival, right? And
Yeah.
and it really felt like it was kind of like the Rain show, honestly. And it doesn't seem like that when I see the show. And it, what, not for his respect, he was the central figure, you know. And but when I saw you guys performing, man, he was so engaged. Like he kept coming back and doing eye contact stuff with you, and I'm like, man, I love seeing this so much, you know, because I love it when our singer does it too. When I beg my bandmates, like, come back and give me some love, man, back on the step and the riser. You know, we'll have some you know, energy exchange, and it was so great to see that. And I think that I'd like to see that. I don't know, man. Just to me, there are a lot of artists out there that I think they take their musicians for granted, you know,
100%
band. So. You know, when you see, like, we were talking Taylor Swift, you know, you hear about at the end of the year when she's doling out, you know, like bonuses for the end of the year for bandmates,
God,
truck drivers, you know, and everybody in between. And I'm thinking, all right, good on her, man. You know, anybody that might have an issue with Taylor Swift, you know, I'll have a talk with them. Yeah, she's 100% earned her stripes, man.
Yeah, man. That whole stuff with Rain and like him interacting. Yeah. That all just comes back to the fact that the band's just in such a good place from like a friendship level that I don't think any of that would exist without it. That's him coming back because he's having fun, and we're all just having fun, and we're getting lost in the songs and lost in the music. And, you know, I think that's what it's all about.
What do you love playing like right now? What's your favorite song to play on stage?
Oh, God. You and these questions.
Well, I know what I look forward to when I'm gigging, you know, and people ask me that.
Yeah.
Well, you can, you know, I mean, I love playing every gig. That, you know, I look forward to every show, and I take advantage of every opportunity to gig. But there are nights, you know, the goosebump moments on a couple of songs were like, oh,
yeah. Well, you know, coming into the band, I think it would have been like Superman's Dead and like those staples that I grew up being like, these songs mean so much to me. Now, I'm going to say we just did a re-record of a song called Whatever, which was
the best.
Yeah. But that song, playing that one live now, has just got like so much feel. And we've been using a lighting guy named Herc, who just like integrates the nice. Yeah. He integrates the lighting and the production into the music so much that it just, like you said, goosebump moments. And that's just because of the collective and what is going on with everything.
Your LD is spot on, dude. I told you, I think you said that you guys switch some guys every once in a while. You've got a guy that'll fill in now and then. But I was so amazed by the immersive visual experience that happens with your shows, too. I had some envy. I gotta admit, I went back to our shows thinking, we really need to have this. Like, it just adds such an amazing feel to it, you know.
It totally does. It brings the show to a different level.
Like, even with you know, the AC/DC font, you know, they're like a lot of people get like appreciate, tip the nod to the AC/DC font for OLP.
Heck yeah, man.
What when we look back at the end days, so you know, you've amassed decades and decades of your career. You look back at the chapters of the book of Jason Pierce. What is it that you want your legacy to be?
Man, I just want to be part of something great, and I want to be able to contribute something to the fabric of music that lasts longer than me. That's kind of always been my goal, to be bigger than myself, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I want to be remembered. I want to do something that is great, you know? And like, you know, I played on hundreds of songs, and some songs have been successful and stuff like that. But like, I don't know. I at the end of the day, I want to know that I feel like it was worth it at the end of it, you know?
Yeah. As a dad, those kind of questions change, right? I mean, they become different. You know, as you're older and you raise children, you realize that it's not just about me anymore, right? And
hardly is ever about me now.
Right. That's for sure. And it's stuff that you would never know until you have kids of your own, right? But having that conversation with them and looking at what's important to them, you know, and as your son gets older and more, you know, aware of what his future surroundings are going to be, and you get those conversations of like, you know, making it matter, I think is a really fun part of parenting.
Absolutely, it is. From his perspective, though, even this morning when we were setting this stuff up, he came up to me and he's like, "Dad, you need a different job. You're away too much." And I'm like, "But son."
Yeah, that's part of that, and that's a tough thing, right?
Yeah.
I took a lot of my younger kids' lives off from touring and just did a lot of like one-offs where
Good for you.
I was fortunate, man, but I definitely like the artists like Pink, that could bring their kids out on the road with them. That bonus.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen to too many artists, right? That's
No.
A
Absolutely.
lot of families have sacrificed a lot, and so props.
Yeah, but like there's the other end of it, if I was like most other people and had to like live that life of like the straight job stuff.
Traveling salesman or whatever.
I'm going to commute to Toronto then every day to go to work for a 9 to 5 and then commute home, and maybe I'll get to tuck you into bed. I'm probably going to be up before you go to school and gone, and you might see me on the weekend, That's the reality for so many people. Like I get to go drop my kid off at school. I get to pick him up. I cook every meal, I put him to bed. I sing him Twinkle, Twinkle,
Nice.
Like all that stuff that like I know he doesn't have the perspective yet.
Yeah, he will.
But I feel so blessed that I get to have those moments and that time when I do.
Awesome.
And even like from my perspective, when I'm on stage, anytime I get nervous, all I do is picture him.
Yeah.
Oh, I do. I just picture him sniffing a flower because he loves flowers so much. I'm like, you are the sweetest kid on earth. Like,
that's so beautiful, man.
I know, man.
As a drummer too, I know you'll appreciate like Dean Castronovo from Journey has been a friend of mine for a long time. He's an Oregonian like me. There's some amazing videos of him out there. Over time in Journey, he'd get out there and he'd like, if he's singing like Open Arms or Mother Father, he'll hold up this picture of his kid, his son, like when he was a little guy. And now there are videos of him playing where his son will come in, sit in on drums playing, separate ways. And it's like, wow, what a cool way to pass the torch, right? But
that's amazing.
Life becomes a different animal when you have kiddos. So props to the musicians out there that have shared passion and then also sacrificed a lot. Any plans for the kids?
Yeah, man.
Any plans for other kids?
No, we're one and done.
Awesome. Well, then he gets all the attention that mom and dad can provide, and that's.
Oh, he gets 100% of it.
What's next for OLP? You got a one-off you mentioned coming up. Is it Hawaii that you're gigging next?
Yes, exactly. We got that coming up this month, and then we have a American run that's starting the beginning of March.
Okay.
So we got like pre-production right at the top of March, and then hop on a bus and go play some shows.
Right. You got a big tour, and it's with another band from the '90s. Starts on F. I remember seeing the tour announcement about it. Oh, I'm embarrassed. I don't remember that.
Well, you can be embarrassed. Right now, it's not even on my mind. The Verve Pipe.
Verve Pipe. It's not F. Yeah, of course, the Verve Pipe. Yes, the Freshman is what I'm thinking of. Like the F.
Yeah, the single.
Yeah, for sure. That'll be a great tour, man. Good pairing, and I'm sure more Collective Soul shows throughout the time, and I'm trying to figure out when my schedule and your schedule aligns so that I can come and see the band again, because there was so much that I remember studying and appreciating, and my gal's a huge fan too. So you guys treated her right the next night when I was down in LA. So thank you for that.
Right. Oh, anytime, man. You just hit me up.
So for the tour and other things that people want to be able to follow, if they go to thejasonpiercedrum.com, they can probably catch all those things and learn more about your drum company affiliations. You got DW, you got ProMark Sticks, you got Sabian Cymbals. Anybody else you want to pimp?
Remo drum heads.
Of course, yeah.
Yep, I got a bunch of Roland electronics. I got a TD50 kit over there, which I play when the family's in the house.
Nice, awesome.
Yeah, what else? I think that's pretty much it. I use Ultimate Ears. They're
yes, for sure, man. That's a good. I just got my impressions done, and I'll be hopefully picking mine up at the NAMM show. So
I wish I was going to NAMM. I've always wanted to go.
You've never gone?
Never gone. Well, I'm Canadian. It's like you don't get out.
Oh man,
you're stuck in.
Can you believe while we're doing this, we're in the middle of January. I've got sun coming in here in Vancouver. Can you believe this? Oh, it's beautiful.
I got a snowstorm going on outside, literally.
Well, this is a good way for you to spend your time. I'm just appreciative of this. But Well, folks, like if you got here late, go back to the beginning of this interview. There's so much great stuff. Jason's had a really phenomenal career, and more than anything, man, I love your drumming, but I love your heart.
Thank you, man.
I love you're just a super cat, man, and I'd heard that about you from your compadres, but just getting to know you has been really fun, and so I look forward to seeing you play again. And
cheers, pal.
listen, we'll do this again. I know we're up in Toronto area twice, I think, in the next few months, so I'll ping you anytime.
Nice.
And
yeah, I want to come see you play.
Yeah, like that won't be exciting to you but I'll see if I can work on the window. Yeah, I got a store rotator cuff right now. I'm wondering if it's from all this.
It probably is. I had that happen this summer. I was sitting around a bonfire after a show. I'm like, why is my arm hurt? And everyone just looks at me. I'm like, oh,
that's it.
Like I did it to myself, eh? Like,
you know, like other Canadian bands, we were touring with like Men Without Hats and Honeymoon Suites, right? And I had a joke for my kit. I would set it up, and I had this china so high, as high as you could possibly extend stands, because the other drummers were laughing about, like, there's no way you can hit it, but with an extension, it's perfect. The stick length, you're hitting it, and it's exactly, you know. So I get way up there, and at the end of the tour, I came home and I had to get a shot in my shoulder. And my doctor's like, I watched the videos. You're an idiot. He said, you're 8 years old and playing like that? I'm like, Pete Townsend still does that stuff in his 80s. You know, he's still doing the windmills. I'm like, so yeah, I do. But yeah, they don't.
That's awesome.
Business. So listen, man, I do appreciate the afternoon. Please, thank your family for sharing you with me. And
absolutely,
guys, I mentioned this before, but if you got here late, I'm just going to tell you, go to this link below, go to youtube.com/@accesskevin. You can find this entire interview available at accesskevin.com. I'll have Jason's website up there. We'll put links to his site and his endorsements. And then I'll be hanging backstage at the NAMM show doing all sorts of great interviews. Billy Sheehan is one of them that we just set up, and lots of your favorite drummers, lots of favorite musicians. And then we'll be back on the road doing some touring. So I'll do all behind the scenes stuff there. So thank you guys. Thanks to Jason Pierce. And man, you guys be good humans. Treat each other well. And have a great day.
See you later,
Take
buddy.
care.